Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, the great Michael Reeves is back on the show. He just finished this book. It's called Taxed by Algorithm. We'll explain next.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I've been a homeowner for some 4 decades, and I don't think I've ever protested my property tax bill. It comes in, and I guess I'm a rule obeyer, and I just dutifully pay my property taxes. But my next guest says if you just do that every single time, you are wildly overpaying. Michael Reeves, thanks for coming back on the show.
Absolutely, appreciate it.
The last time we talked, you said what percentage of property tax bills are unfair?
Well, it's 40 to 60% are overtaxed. It's the number of people who are actually stepping up to the plate and going, I'm not going to accept this.
Yes.
And that's growing, and I'm excited about that.
Yes.
So.
All right, tell us about your book, and we're going to put it on the screen. Taxed by Algorithm, How Invisible Models Decide Your Property Taxes.
Yeah, that sounds boring, but it was actually fun to write. Taxed by Algorithm, what it comes down to is the county's using an invisible model to put an arbitrary value on your property. Interesting, because I read an article the other day from the Austin American-Statesman, which is obviously the big newspaper there in Travis County. And you know, Cynthia Martinez, who's the chief strategy officer there at the county, came out and basically said, we don't know what your property's worth. We're doing our best to create what we think that value is. And we need the citizen to kind of step up and help us get that value correct, right? And again, the county's using an algorithm we think we've done a good job in knowing what that is, but ultimately going into our clients and saying, hey, listen, this is their opinion of value. What is your opinion of value? And if you hire a service like us, we'll come up with a very, very good opinion of value that we think can lower your property taxes with.
And out of 100 people, how many protest their property tax bill? 1?
Yeah, no, you would think so, right? It's actually nationwide, it's less. And we're trying to eventually go nationwide. It's about 5% of the population around the country actually doesn't argue the value, or 5% only argue the value of their property taxes. And again, my goal is in Texas here right now, there's about 12 million property owners. What if 12 million of us stood up one day and said, you know what, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to let the algorithm the county's using to assess my property. What if we all just stopped and said, no, strength in numbers, let's do this, right? First thing you do is you'd overwhelm the county, right? And then maybe change would actually come.
Yes.
So.
Yes. Okay, we're going to put your website on the screen. Tell us about the Andy app.
The Andy app is the first and only property tax protesting app through an app on your phone. Okay, first and only on the Google and Apple Play Store. Nobody can ever take that away from us. And now with the click of a button using artificial intelligence, we'll immediately pull comps, immediately show you the savings. And then one of the biggest things that we need from our clients and obviously citizens around Texas is uploading imperfections of the property, uploading repair estimates. We actually have a gentleman that every single year hires a handyman to come out and look at his property, and just so we could get repair estimates to argue the value of his property taxes.
Wow.
Now, he doesn't actually fix his property. I feel really bad for the handyman that's coming out wasting his time. But at the same time, again, he sees that those repair estimates can lower the value of your property.
Now let's drill down a little deeper there. Sure. So your comps are the last guy who sold his or her house down the block.
Correct.
So you're being compared to a perfect house that was set to be a showroom, and your home may not have been updated in 10 years.
Correct. And how's that fair? Right? When you're going to sell a house, what do? Right? You paint the walls, clean out the closet, you turn on the lights, you bake cookies because you want it to smell good, right? Because you want max value.
Yes.
But I'm not selling my house, right? Neither is my neighbor. So what does their house look like, right? It's interesting is because you have to show the county that The condition of my house is not in the same condition as the gentleman who sold it down the street. He wanted top dollar. I'm just living here.
Yeah.
Right. And so again, you know, they're good, they're fair. The county's fair. I don't want everybody to think it's an adverse relationship. And you heard it from Cynthia Martinez. She said, look, we need help. So how do you get help, right? And so now through the Andy app, you can take pictures of imperfections of the property, upload it right there to the app, and we use those pictures. You put a little description on what the county's looking at,
yeah,
and we can use that to negotiate a fair value for your property because you aren't selling it.
And how much time would it typically take a homeowner to use the Andy app?
Oh, geez, 35 seconds to a minute. Right.
Really?
And so what I'm trying to get folks to do is see it as apple pie as filing your federal income taxes. When you go on a business lunch in February, right, you take a picture of the receipt and you write it off on your taxes in April, right? Same thing here. If you have damage to your property, like I just lost a water heater, right? I had water all over my garage. Well, I took a picture of it. I got the repair estimate. And I'm going to upload that to the app and I'm going to use that to protest my property taxes.
Beautiful.
Because again, who wants to buy a house with a bad water heater?
Well, Michael, I think you would have been a good journalist because you're creating these wonderful videos. I found one that you did with Brittany Black. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Hey, ladies and gentlemen, it's Michael again with the Andy app. Tonight I'm in Dallas, Texas, and I'm going to interview Brittany Black. And guess what? She's running for House District 61, and we're going to talk to her about property taxes. Let's go. Hey, Brittany, thank you again for listening to us. And obviously today we're going to talk to you about property taxes. So, before we get started, I'd love for you to tell my my audience, who's the Property Tax Army, basically a little bit about yourself and why you're running for House District 61.
Hi, my name is Brittany Black. I'm running for Texas House District 61, basically Collin County, McKinney. And I decided to run because I'm a problem solver. And I saw that the political system is broken. Problem solver fixes broken systems. I see that working families are working twice as hard and they're not getting any further. We have property taxes going up. We have people that cannot know where their taxes are going, but they're still going up. We have schools closing and we have healthcare being more expensive than ever. So I'm running to solve these problems and really help out the hardworking families that pay for our state and take Texas back.
The second cool question I always ask is, and you kind of already answered it, right? Which is, the Texas family, they're working hard. They don't understand what the property taxes are. Let's just say tomorrow you're the emperor of Texas, and you, with a stroke of a pen, you could change anything about property taxes. What would that be?
It's actually funny because I answered this in a forum about 2 weeks ago when asked about property taxes. I said the appraisal system and the way that we currently know our evaluations on our properties is way too difficult. I actually am a multiple property owner and a business owner, and I know all about this, and I get to protest every year, but I know so many people don't know this. And the appraisal system is so difficult, and it's hard to understand where your taxes are going, what they're being used for, and why they're so high. And then if you want to protest or see the appraisal and understand it, you simply can't. So I think fixing the appraisal system and making it easier to understand where your taxes are going would be the main thing I would focus.
And the cool thing she said there was understand, right? And that's what we're battling to do, is to get Texans to understand what's even going on. How does the appraisal system work? What are the deadlines? We think with the Andy app, we can do that and educate the public. With one click of a button, they can protest their property taxes. All we ask them to do is walk around their property and take imperfections of the property pictures. Could be a crack in the wall, could be stains on the carpet, could be holes in the wall, whatever it may be. What is their house valued at right now if they were to sell it with all the imperfections? And so last but not least, Brittany, thank you so much. We appreciate it, and good luck with you in House District 61. But the last question is for your constituents, do you support your constituents and fellow Texans actually protesting their property taxes?
Absolutely. So the main thing that we love here in our great state is freedom. Freedom of choice of many things, freedom to be able to make the choice to protest. So one of the things that we're allowed in our Constitution is we can protest. So if we don't agree with the appraisal given to us, or we think that we deserve maybe a little break because of certain things in our house, I just did this last year, we can protest. That's our right. Of course, we should exercise our rights.
Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Brittany.
Like I said, I think you would have been a good journalist, and you might have missed your calling.
I know what the interview.
What's the reaction when people try it for the first time? Are they surprised at how intuitive the app is?
Yes, absolutely. I think they're realizing when you can show them the potential savings based off the comps that we've generated in our sophisticated software in the app. I think they all of a sudden see, wow, I didn't realize this.
Wow.
You know, and I think that's the big eye-opening experience to go, yeah, I need to do this.
And the savings can be hundreds, thousands, tens of thousands?
Absolutely. I mean, I've saved folks. We did a refund for a gentleman, and that's another thing is tax refunds. A lot of people don't realize you can file a 2525D and a 2525C in the Texas tax code, which allows us to go backwards and get potential refunds. They actually assessed the guy who built a tree house for his son, and they assessed it as livable space.
Oh, goodness.
So,
oh, my goodness.
You know, so again, guys, it's just really putting a spotlight. You never know unless you know, right?
Yeah.
One of my favorite movies is Dumb and Dumber. I know it's crazy.
Yeah.
But Jim Carrey asked the lady on a date, and she said, not in a million years. And he said, so you're telling me there's a chance? And so again, just give us a chance, give us that opportunity and do it because, you know, there's money out there to be had. We know how much it's going to be. Could be thousands, could be hundreds. Could be tens of thousands, especially when you get into commercial properties, which we do as well, could be substantial. So again, you never know unless you try.
Outstanding. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, I think people are waking up, and I think a lot of it has to do with what we're doing. Are you going to want to be taxed by an algorithm, or really take a deep dive and see what your property is actually worth as you're living in it? Not for sale purposes, but for tax purposes. And I get clients that ask me, hey, are they going to change legislation? No. They are not changing legislation. They're going to try to tell you they are, and they may battle with it. They may go into the sessions and have it in their heart to really try to do it, but unfortunately, there's too much red tape. So what is on the books now? Go back to my previous conversation, and I know we're wrapping up here. I could talk about this for hours and talk to a wall about it, but going back to the original claim is 12 million Texans got up one day on May 15th or before and goes, enough is enough. I'm going to file a legitimate appeal of my property taxes and even apply for refund under a 2525D or a 2525C. Would we get change?
Wow.
Would we get change? And I think the answer is absolutely, because you would overwhelm the system.
Yes.
Again, waking up every single Texan to go, stop being taxed by an algorithm, and let's really let the Andy app figure out what your property is worth while you're living in it, not while you're trying to sell it.
Amen.
Big difference.
Thank you so much for sharing your heart and your wisdom with us. We're going to end with his website, which again is theandyapp.com. The great Michael Reeves. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Thanks.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.